from the Naylor House Studios in the heart of the 254. It's time for Connecting the Dots. Here's your host, Jeff Sanford.
It's a great day in Stephenville, and it's always made greater by the guests that we have in studio today. We have an entrepreneur, and one of the tenets of our foundation here is entrepreneurship. And so one that we thought we'd get on early in our season here is James Andrae, founder of Capital Hatters. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Man, it's so good to have you. You know, we ran into each other at a city council meeting, and I thought, what a great guest this would be.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful building y'all have got out here, and I'm super excited to be here today.
Well, thank you. We're glad to have you. You know, we're glad because there's a lot to learn. We've been talking off air a lot, and I've learned more probably in the last 10, 15 minutes just talking to you about different things than ever before. I've always known that you've been a great hat maker, and we're going to talk a lot about the process and how you kind of came to be with that. But you're a winter's boy.
I am.
Yeah.
Winter's blizzard. Through and through. Graduated in 97.
That's awesome.
So.
Yeah, made your way over to San Angelo, I guess. And
I did.
Talk a little bit about what led you here to Stephenville.
Well, I came to Stephenville a lot, for FFA judging contests, and just like 10,000 other kids do every year. And so I kind of was drawn to Stephenville. I just like the area, just like the town, what little bit that I had spent here. But I got a full-ride scholarship to San Angelo State, so I opted out of Tarleton and went to Angelo.
Yeah.
And I stayed there for 3 years, and then transferred to Tarleton. That's how I got here.
Well, that's another great school there in another great town, and something that kind of gets you away from where you grow up. I think we all want to do that sometimes, and but it's funny how the roads always lead to Stephenville.
It does.
Yeah,
that is true.
And Tarleton's a great school.
It is.
Yep.
It is.
Now,
I got here as soon as I could.
I was going to say, that's what people say, right? So it's changed a lot. You've been here long enough to know that Tarleton's a little different today than it was when you got here.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so.
And how about the town? The town has changed.
The town, when I came out here, there was, if you wanted to go out and eat, it was Chili's.
Yeah.
That was your choice.
That's right.
So.
Oh, I remember well. That was something. Yeah, we helped them kind of get settled back in the day, and we were excited as could be that we could get a Chili's in town.
It was. Yeah, it was good. It was good times.
Well, you made your way to a place that's pretty special to me. My family, I have some family from Bryan, Texas, and you were down there and kind of got working a little bit at what a lot of people would consider to be a pretty well-known hat maker, Catalina Hatters.
It was. So that was actually the second hat shop that I worked in.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Talk about
that. The first hat shop that I worked in was in San Angelo.
Okay.
And I got hired on there kind of by accident. I just happened to be at the right place at the right time. The guy that owned the hat shop there, he had been to Las Vegas, set up a booth during the finals. He was on his way back, and I just happened to be in the same room with his best friend.
Yeah.
And they were talking back and forth about how busy he had been, and he said, when I get back to town, I'm going to have to hire some more help. And I was working at a feedlot at the time, dead of winter, cold. And I raised my hand. I said, I'm your guy. So,
Go ahead.
So that's how I got my foot in the door in the hat shop business, hat world.
Did you just grow up wearing hats though all the time? Was that?
We grew up farming and ranching.
Yeah.
Always, I roped a lot. From when I was in junior high, I guess that's kind of eat, slept, and breathe roping. So I was in the Western lifestyle for seems like all my life.
Yeah.
And you grow up in West Texas, that's kind of what you do. So.
Well, you've lived in places that certainly support that heritage.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, Stephenville certainly does. You made your way to Stephenville at some point here, and even before that, you had kind of thought about going into this business on your own.
Right.
What sort of led you to that decision?
Even when I first started out, I just was drawn to the hat world. I had a knack for it. Hat shaping came easy to me, and the hat building process came easy to me. I got out of it for a little bit when I transferred to Tarleton. I was out of it for 2 years when I graduated Tarleton. That's when I ended up at Bryan.
Yeah.
And I actually went to Bryan to enrolled at A&M for a little bit, very little bit. And I thought I wanted to be an ag teacher.
Yeah, there you go.
And I learned real quick that wasn't what I wanted to do. So, and I was just going to school at night. I was working at the other hat shop there during the day, and I thought, man, why am I doing this when I want to be a hatter?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So that was the 2 previous shops that I worked in.
Well, they obviously gave you a lot of training. I imagine over the time you've developed your own kind of flair for it as well. And
Right.
and when you start this thing out, you got to buy equipment too. How did you come about even knowing what and where and how to get equipment?
So that's the hard part.
Yeah.
You can't just get on the phone and say, hey, I want to order crown blocks and brim presses and all these machines. You've got to kind of wait your turn. You've got to have your foot in the door. You got to know where this stuff is and who's going out of business so you can get in business. And I just lucked out, to be honest with you. I'd heard through the grapevine that this feller had some hat equipment for sale. And if I wouldn't have been in the hat business already or the hat world, I would have never known about it.
Wow.
So all these machines are built in the the 20s to the 40s, and some even earlier than that.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And is that primarily for the felts?
That's for the felts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you've got felt shops and you've got straw shops, and they're black and white. There's no comparison to, if you've got a felt shop, you got a felt shop.
Right.
And so. But we just build our own felt hats where we're at here.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they're beautiful. What if you haven't been inside Capitol Hatters here in Stephenville? Certainly you missed out because there are some amazing hats, and a lot of people have worn your hats. Luke Brown, Chad Masters, Corey Coleman, and so many others. But one person said that from my custom purple felt to summer straw hats, I will only wear Capitol Hatters. That's JJ Hampton.
Right. Yeah.
And she's known for her purple hat. Tell me a little bit how that came about.
Well, I mean, who would who's more known in the hat world and in the rodeo world than JJ? I mean, she's a standout, in everything she does.
Yep.
So, and she wears a purple hat. So,
which is pretty
if
cool.
you want to put on a pronounced hat to somebody's head, that's number one right there.
Yeah.
So.
18-time world champion JJ Hampton, 2025 National Cowgirl Hall of Fame inductee, which is pretty cool. And I tell you what, when she wears your hat there, and so many others, I know there's several that wear your hats whenever they're out and about. Felt, I've always been interested in this because it's sort of like wearing white. Yeah, there's straw and there's felt for seasons, right? Is there is that a hard and fast rule?
And it may be, or it may have been back in the day.
Uh-huh.
White dresses, white shoes.
Right. Right.
It's Easter to Labor Day.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be your straw hats. I'm not a guy like that. When it gets hot, I'll put a straw hat on. When it gets cold, I'll put a felt hat on.
Yeah.
And then I would say most people are today, but you still got some diehards out there.
You got to give me a hint here though, because one thing I've always hated is I don't want to be considered a drugstore cowboy.
Right.
I don't want to be that one that's out of place. And so if I did wear in the middle of summer a felt hat, am I going to be looked at funny? Or
we wouldn't hold it against you.
Because I do it more for style. I try to match everything.
And to be real honest with you, I almost put on a felt hat to come in here today.
There you go.
It's 90 degrees outside.
I know it is. That's for sure.
No, you can wear a felt. I would say any time of the year.
Yeah.
You might look funny if it's 0 degrees outside and you're wearing a straw hat.
For sure.
So.
For sure. Yeah, I think that's probably a good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
I know that also you have differences in men and women hats. Tell me a little bit about that. Like, what do they look for that's different in your eyes?
Well, you've got the same hat. Your men and your women are going to wear the same hats. Just how you style them is going to be your difference. And not so much in men versus women. That could be me and you. You may like a different style than I do. Mm-hmm. And most people do. That's the joy of coming to a custom hat shop is that we can do. If you can dream it, we can build it.
Oh, that's even better. So do you have sort of if someone were to come in for the first time, is there sort of the most popular in terms of crowns or brims? I know there's 2 different ways there. Whenever you're building a hat, you really look at all of it from top to bottom.
Right.
And it's a little bit hard. I'm not gonna lie. It's hard. If you ever go in and get a new hat, it looks funny.
It does. It's an open crown, a flat brim, and it's a clean slate. You can do what you want to with it.
Yeah.
So.
Do you have like a style that tends to be more common for people?
I would say for this area, we call it the all around. It's basically what I've got on right here.
Yeah.
It's a rodeo shape. but it's really regional. Some places you go out to West Texas and they roll them up and high and tight, and you go to Nevada and Utah and they're buckaroo shapes out there. It's low and flat.
Yeah.
And dip down the front and up in the back. So it's very regional, but around here, you're pretty safe to say, just something like what I've got on, just a square front, up on the sides a little bit.
Yeah, I like the style you have on right there. Now, do you have you've done so many hats for other people? How many hats you think you've built?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I'd say we'll be pushing, if not over. We'll build 3,000 hats this year.
In a year.
In a year. Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Now, do people in some of those? A lot of them are for people outside the industry, obviously.
A lot of them are.
Yeah. When you get inside the industry, if you will, and you're talking about, say, a particular discipline in a rodeo, do people wear a different style for different disciplines? Do ropers wear something different than bronc riders than something else?
They do. Yeah. You can kind of point out a bull rider's crown, brim out of a crowd.
Yeah.
The rein cow horse, the AQHA shape. It's the rodeo shape. It's pretty much within a discipline that you can see different stuff, different styles.
Kind of cool. I like that. They're just beautiful hats. You can get them in nearly every color. Has there ever been one that you've not been able to do? Has someone come in and said, "I need"?
Oh, we don't build any top hats.
Yeah.
It takes a different setup for that, but we do a lot of Amish styles.
Okay.
And we stick with the rodeo bunch. Not necessarily the rodeo bunch, but just the straight Western. We don't dip too far right or left. We stay pretty well channeled down the middle. Yeah. We don't get off on fads a lot or trendy stuff. There's hat shops that chase the trends, and then that's great. It works for a little while, but it's like we do what we do. We try to do it good.
Absolutely.
Or the best we can, at least.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I know that one of the things you say is we don't just wear them, we build them. That's sort of a slogan there, and that's a cool thing. And I think people who wear them are very happy with them once you build them.
If you're not, it's your own fault.
There you go.
We're here to please you.
There you go. Yeah. Have you ever had a difficult customer, one that took a little bit more than you?
We've had some trying customers. We have. It's not that we mind either. We
want to get it right.
We like a customer that knows what they want.
Okay.
More times than not, it's a communication barrier.
Yeah.
They want it to look like this, but the what they're wanting, they just can't get out, or we're not comprehending it the same. But bear with us, we'll get it. I promise you.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, they're gorgeous hats. Capital Hatters. This is James Andrae with us, and we're going to take a break from the questions now because it is time to play the 254. Now, James, this is a game show that is sweeping the nation. Okay? I'm going to ask you some questions, rapid fire. Sometimes they end up not being rapid fire, but that's okay.
Okay.
I'm going to just ask, and you answer however you want to answer, okay? You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Number one, you are part owner in 4-Reel Tackle and Outdoors, correct?
That's correct.
All right. What's your favorite fishing hole?
Oh, Lake Leon would be my favorite.
Lake Leon. All right.
Yeah.
That's a good one. You have 2 boys?
I do have 2 boys, yes.
Yep.
Slade and Sloan.
Slade and Sloan. And plus you, that makes a kind of a male-dominated family.
My poor wife, yes.
Yes, that's what I was going to ask. So what's something that Mama always wins whenever she's puts her 2 cents in?
Mom always gets the last word.
That's pretty smart on your part. I appreciate that for sure. Okay, question number 3. You ready? All right, so sometimes, I know you chase the boys around a lot, but sometimes you just want to have a little vacay with your honey. What is your favorite place, or where's your favorite place to go to vacation?
Oh, it doesn't seem like we get any vacations anymore.
I know.
That might be the toughest question on the board.
Yeah. All right, let me ask you this. Where would be a place you'd like to go?
We went to Mexico for our honeymoon. So.
Nice. Yeah. What part of Mexico?
Riviera Maya.
Yeah.
So
cool.
That might be a bucket list.
There you go.
Circle back around there.
That would be a lot of fun. We also were in Mexico, and kind of a cool thing. Our daughter's getting married in Mexico.
You bet.
So we're headed down there. And my boys will be wearing 2 hats from Capital Hatters.
You bet.
So that's pretty cool. All right, number 4. Certainly you listen to music. You listen to music?
I do listen to music.
Okay.
Yes.
If I got in your music library, your playlist, what artist or song would I find the most in there?
Oh, I'm a George Strait fan.
Oh, yeah. Now, you got a favorite song?
Probably Amarillo by Morning.
Well, that's hard to beat.
It's a lot of people's, I know.
But it's all right. It's hard to beat.
That's right.
You know, it's when you get that violin strum at the beginning,
Yes.
or fiddle strum, or however they want to call it. It's that's pretty cool. All right, I've got a final question here for you, James. You just repeat this after me and then answer it.
Okay.
Okay. What I love about Stephenville is.
What I love about people is what I love about Stephenville is the people. You know, it's and I can go all day long on that, but it's great people around here. It's a great town.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's a 254. All right, back with you, James Andrae, Capital Hatters, established in 2004, and you have been running strong in Stephenville. You do a couple of different things, though. You know, you have your local sales, of course. People can come into the store and get what they want, but you also have your business to business piece. Talk a little bit about that. How does that work?
So we do some business to business. You know, I've got another store over there in Weatherford that's kind of we got onto it by accident, basically. We weren't really looking to expand, but it just kind of fell in our lap. So we've got that. I've got another retailer in Fort Worth that we do a lot of business with. Really, as far as hats being sold, other than right here in Stephenville at the hat shop, are just those 2 locations.
Okay. But you also then go on the road quite a bit.
We do go on the road a lot. Yes.
PRCA, NFR, stock shows and rodeos. Talk a little bit about that. I mean, does that make up a lot of your business?
It does make up a good bit of it.
Probably for marketing, for sure.
And that's the way I look at it, is marketing.
Yeah.
You know, it's advertising for us.
Yeah.
It draws some supplemental income, but it's a lot of residual.
Yeah.
So, you know, we ship hats. Golly, I don't know that we've shipped them to 50 states, but I bet we've shipped them to 40.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and a lot of that comes off of those shows.
And you also do some corporate things, right? You were talking to me off air about not, you know, I always think of it as you buy 1, you buy 2, whatever at a time. But you've had some where you've bought 200, maybe 70, whatever the case may be.
So the last several years, we've done some big shows, private shows. One particular one, we built 270 hats for them. Wow! And you know, we've got another one that we've done 70 hats for. We do a lot of them that are 10 and 12 hats. The 270 was the biggest. We've done some 100 hats. Wow! So. Yeah, and then there again, that's just, you know, who knows where a lot of that stuff comes from. You know, maybe it was one guy at a show that picked up a pamphlet or, you know, something like that. But
well, and the fact that they're all here in Stephenville, Texas, that gives our town a good name too.
You know, Stephenville is a town that is world renowned. It's a town that you can just say Stephenville, Texas, and it doesn't matter where you're at. They know where it is. You know, and that's one of the great things about doing business in Stephenville is, you know, I could say Fort Worth, I could say Dallas, you could say Austin, you could say all them big towns, and you can put Stephenville right there in the middle of it, and people know where it is. Yeah. You know?
Well, your Weatherford store you've mentioned opened up just this last year, and is it similar in style? Like, do you make hats there too, or is it more of a retail store?
It's all retail.
Yeah.
We still manufacture everything here. Okay. You know, just trying to manage the retail side in Weatherford. You know, it's not that far over there, but it's far enough. You know, I don't feel like we can produce or manufacture the quality in 2 different places that we can in one. Right. You know, so we just strictly stayed retail in Weatherford.
But it does seem like a natural step in the entrepreneur process, from learning how to do things to getting your equipment to getting your permanent location to, you know, the marketing expansion of the product itself, and now to another location. I mean, what's next for Capital Hatters?
Oh, I don't know. You know, the Weatherford store has been a learning process. I've been here for 22 years now.
Yeah.
This year will be 22 years this summer, actually. So I took a lot of things for granted from this store that I thought would be over there, but really it's only 50 miles away, but you're building a whole new clientele, and you're dealing with employees, which hats off, I've got a great one over there now. Good. Finally, so good. That's helped a lot, but it's been a learning curve. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
My wife has been very beneficial.
Well, I was going to ask you about Kim and her role.
Yeah.
Does she kind of keeps you in line?
Keeps me in line for sure.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it without her.
Yeah.
She does a great job. She keeps up with all the employee stuff, which she's got an HR background. She worked for FMC for 10 or 11 years in HR. So, but she does all the paperwork, which is my least favorite thing to do. Probably like a lot of men and. Yeah.
Well, I think a lot in it anyway, because your skill set is in the product that you're creating.
Right.
And, then there's this whole business aspect of it.
Right.
That it's hard to teach. It's hard to learn. And
exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a hands-on guy. If you can put me in the back or put me talking to a customer, I'm great. You put me behind a desk, push a pencil or paying bills and stuff like that, I'm not going to say I'm the best at that.
I understand.
So, but thank goodness she's good.
Well, that's right. It's good to have her as a partner.
Takes a team.
Let me ask you this though: have you ever looked at somebody who's wearing a hat and said, "Man, they need to be in my hat. I need to make sure they get one of my hats."
That happens every day.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, it happens very often. Especially going to the bigger shows like Footwear Stock Show and stuff like that. You can pick out a person that doesn't wear one on a regular basis.
Right.
Some people wear a hat really good.
Yeah.
Some people need a little help.
Yeah, for sure. I've seen that before, and I told you, I was telling you off air, I don't want to be a drugstore cowboy. I want to be the guy that looks good in what he wears.
Make you look the part at least.
Well, when we do our recruiting, one of the cool things about a cowboy hat that people need to understand, and the whole look is when we go recruiting for business here in town, and I will often wear a cowboy hat, and you stand out. For years it took us a little while to describe who and what Stephenville is and where we are and all that, and then I started wearing the cowboy hat, and all of a sudden you get in right away. People, they may not remember my name, but they'll remember Stephenville.
The man in the cowboy hat.
Yeah, I remember the man in the cowboy hat.
Yes, exactly right.
Well, that's pretty cool. Well, I want to move on to something else, because not only do you do your business, which you do well, but you also are involved with other things in our town. You're right now the president of the Cowboy Capital of the World, PRCA Rodeo, coming up this September 25th, 26th, and 27th out at the Prefort Fairgrounds Arena. I like the name there. You got a little sponsorship going on.
Got a little sponsorship.
That's good. Well, actually, you have a lot of sponsorship.
We do.
This thing is a big deal.
It is.
Talk about what that role looks like, and what is your role specifically. Then we'll talk about the event itself.
Well, I'll go back just a little bit. Chad Decker kind of headed that deal up.
Yeah.
He was the president for when ECLA and the PRCA or the CCPRA, which is what we are now, when they kind of split up. The Chad was the president then, and he asked me to come on, just be a board member. And I was like, I'd love to help with that. I'd had a rodeo background and business and all that stuff, so it just kind of made sense. And then, his kids got a little older, went to college, and got into more stuff, and so he kind of stepped away and asked me to be president. So I've been there for this may be my 10th year as president. Seems like a long time, but I've got a great committee.
Yeah.
And everybody does their part. There's no drama. There, everybody, so and so does this, so and so does that. I honestly, in my opinion, I could always think I could do more, but it's a great group of people, and the support behind us, building this new arena out on 67 has just been eye-opening, and just I'm still in awe.
Yeah. What's next for that arena? Because it is new. You've had 2 years there now. Is this the second year?
We just had our third year out there.
Third year, excuse me. Okay.
So just this past year, since the last rodeo last September, we put in a new set of bleachers.
Yeah.
We put in skyboxes.
Wow.
And a lot of that is help from the city.
Sure.
And I give them credit where credit's due.
Absolutely.
We couldn't have done it without them. But it looks completely different out there.
Yeah.
From last year to this year, it's gonna you walk in and you're gonna you're going to think, wow, these people have been busy.
Well, and it is something different because for years it was at the Lone Star Arena, and the need to move was significant and timely, and to put all this together. And I mean, I guess you'd always been thinking about it, but certainly to move and act was kind of quick, wasn't it?
It was very quick.
Yeah,
it was very quick. And that deal went from ground up. From truly ground up. It was an open pasture. Yeah, and we were out there the other day, me and Ben Clements, which is also on the board, and we just kind of looked at ourselves. We were walking around, we're talking to Mark about the Tarleton Rodeo being out there, and me and Ben just kind of stepped back and looked at it, and we're like, wow, this thing is really cool. It's come a long ways. So. Well,
and a big part of rodeo is the dirt. It's one thing to have the arena and to have the bleachers, have all the great things for the fans, but the Cowboys want the dirt.
It's got to be a good playing field.
Yeah. So
and we've got the best around. We've been nominated and won Best Footing Award for I don't know how many years in a row. So
that's fantastic.
I know since we've been out there, we've won it every year.
So it's September 25th, 26th, 27th, as I mentioned. That's just a 3-day piece, but the entire week is filled with events surrounding the PRC Rodeo and the Western and Rodeo Heritage piece. Talk a little bit about what that means for our community, because it's to get everybody involved, you need more than just the event at the arena. Not everybody can make it out there.
Right.
You've got things that are going all over town.
We do have a lot of stuff going on that week, and we try to dub that whole Western Heritage Week with different stuff in town, not only at the arena, but also in town. So, we have an art show, and we have a parade, and, just a lot of different cool stuff going on.
Yeah.
And last year we added the Ranch Rodeo, which was the weekend before the Pro Rodeo. Huge success. We'll do the second annual again this year. So it brings a lot of people to town.
It does bring a lot of people to town, because it's not just for folks that are out there. It's not just the actual participants, but it's also all of those fans that come in and like to follow these type of events.
Right.
They go all over the country.
Right.
And I love and I always like the posters. We've got them up all over our building here. Every year it seems like there's a great new poster for it. And, and if you don't know about these things, if you ever go into a furniture store and see, the Cheyenne Rodeo or the, you name it, fill it in. There's always ours, and ours are equally, if not better, than any of those posters around. You can frame them up.
And Blue Dornan does those.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar. Blue, he's a hometown kid.
Yep.
Guy, not a kid.
I know. Used to be a kid.
My gosh, what an artist.
Yeah.
Just
isn't it fun to see that?
Spectacular. And he surprises us every year.
Yeah.
It's a new one every year, and it's just, you just look at it and you think, what is going on here? It's just fantastic.
I think we have 8 of them up here in the office right now, and we like to get them every year.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of fun. I think your wife helps us get those whenever we get them. This is James Andrae. He's the founder of Capital Hatters here in Stephenville, Texas, and also the Pro Rodeo, the cowboy capital of the world, PRCA Rodeo, happening in September. But so many other great things happening right now. I'd like to ask him a couple of final questions here, because I'm very interested in this. You mentioned something earlier that caught my ear. And that was that some of the equipment, whenever you were first getting started in this business, in the hat world, from the 20s to 40s, and some of those older time things, has it really changed much over the years? And what is sort of the trend for hats, particularly cowboy hats, moving forward?
Ever since, you had your urban cowboy days in the 70s and 80s, huge Western movement, and now ever since, I'm drawing a blank there. Taylor Sheridan.
Yellowstone.
Yeah, sorry, I drew a blank. But Yellowstone, I mean, my gosh, the Western industry, it doesn't matter if it's hats or jeans or boots or what, it's on fire.
Right.
And it has been ever since. And, went through a little ordeal right there around that where it was just so much supply and demand, and material was hard to get. And we went from, if you ordered custom hat, I was 30 days out, to being 6 months out, sometimes longer on some stuff.
Yeah.
So that's been a challenge. But going forward, that's for us. We're just going to keep the hammer down.
Yeah, I like it. And you say, we use the word felt for those, but it's not always. I mean, that's made up of different things sometimes, isn't it?
Well, you call it felt. It's the felting process of different materials. So
yeah, was there like a most popular?
Well,
like coonskin. Or
I don't know. It depends.
What animal can I throw in there?
We use wild hare, rabbit, beaver.
Wow.
We use a beaver blend, which is between the rabbit and the beaver. We've got mink hats, we've got chinchilla hats, we've got belly fur of the beaver.
Wow.
So there's a lot that can go into hat, which I could go on all day about the qualities and why this hat is better than that hat, or so on and so forth. But yeah, it's really interesting. And it doesn't change. To get back to your question, I guess it hasn't changed. The way you make a hat has not changed.
Does the material? Is there an easier material to work with than others?
No. Your beaver fur and higher qualities will be easier to make, but you've got to take more time because they've got to be just right. Your rabbit fur, people aren't expecting the absolute perfection of the fur, which you're not going to get anyway. Still nice hats, but we take longer on the higher quality hats, but it still levels out.
And I think the final question is for those that don't know, they walk into your store, they see something that's a 6X or a 10X, and they see a 100X, or they see whatever that is. Tell us a little bit about what that means, and particularly to the consumer, what that might mean. Obviously, the higher, more X's, the more cost and more into it. But talk a little bit about that.
So on our qualities, we start out with a 10X. Our 10X is a rabbit fur hat. There's no standard to the X's, so you've got to take your X's for granted of who you're talking to, of what hat shop you're in or what manufacturer you're talking about. But ours in particular, our 10X is a rabbit fur hat. We don't put any wool in our hats. You go up from a 10 to a 20X, which is a blend between the rabbit and the beaver. And then you go to a pure beaver, and then you go to the belly fur of a beaver, and then a mink and a chinchilla. So that's how we grade them. Everybody's a little bit different on what kind of fibers they throw in there.
Yeah.
But this is the way I've done it.
Yeah.
Since day one. Like I said, try to stay true to your roots.
Yeah.
And just keep doing what works.
Right. Well, I said it was going to be my final question, and I always do this. So it's when you have a hat, do you store it downward, or do you turn it upside down and do it this way?
Well,
which is the best way?
You've got to turn it upside down.
Okay.
And the reason for, you don't want to spill your luck. You've got all that luck on the inside of your hat right there. So.
Oh, I like that. Hey, that's good to remember.
That's good to remember.
Yeah.
No, don't ever put your hat on the bed.
That's
another
know.
one. I don't go buy a whole lot of that kind of stuff, but that is one that does not happen in our house. You do not put your hat on the bed. Turn it upside down all the time. Don't spill your luck. So.
See, we're learning things.
If you don't learn anything else today,
I know. I love it. Well, I have learned a lot, to be honest with you. And I'm so glad you're on here as a guest on Connecting the Dots. This is James Andrae, Capital Hatters. Come visit him here in Stephenville, the cowboy capital of the world. I don't know that we would be the cowboy capital without someone like you here. And so we are appreciative of what you've done, what you've given not only into the business world, but also what you give to others through the entire Western heritage piece, and particularly our pro rodeo here. Thank you so much.
Thank y'all.
We appreciate
what y'all are doing also.
Well, thank you. Absolutely.
It's been a great time today.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
And we'll keep doing this. When we come back, we'll have a little monologue.
On today's podcast, we talked about custom hats and the uniqueness which surrounds each creation, as well as the uniqueness of the customer purchasing the cranial artwork. And this got me thinking about life in general and all the many hats we wear. We fill our lives to the brim, literally, with work, social activities, family, and who knows what else. And as we get older, it sometimes feels as though we keep adding even more to the to-do list. One of my personal challenges, and maybe yours as well, is trying to fit into too many hats at the same time. One custom fit head topper can be stylish and attractive. Some might say fulfilling. But balancing too many at once can be downright silly, and let's face it, pretty difficult to wear. Usually, this seems to happen in concert with stages of one's life. I mean, think about it. When you're young with fewer cares, we stand ready for anything that fills our day. We wear a let's go cap. We easily transition between work and play and whatever else fills our uptime. As we get a little older, we often are blessed with new pieces of our life's puzzle. Things like a spouse and kids, maybe a bigger job. Throw in some passion projects like boards or other acts of volunteerism, and our time begins to be filled with those activities and more tasks. Let's call this our responsibility hat. After some time juggling all of these activities, life changes even more. Our new hat, the obligatory one, represents a shift towards stacked obligations. Sometimes all of these fun things we used to long for now seem like just another tax on our time. We still do these things and probably even find significance in their importance and impact. But sometimes it's hard to delineate the difference between work, home, and social activities as those lines get blurred by the pure mass of activity. This can often lead to burnout as our brains forget to categorize all this activity into their proper sectors, such as fun or challenging or thought-provoking. Without customizing these obligations, much like the custom hats we discussed earlier in the episode, then your obligatory hat might just look like everything else in your closet. If you're not careful, our fun that we used to have becomes centered around comfort and routine rather than adventure and spontaneity. Well, today's guest, James Andrae, is one of the most well-known custom hat makers in the country. He mentioned something that stood out to me. He said, at Capital Hatters, they will build the hat right, and the customer will get what they want. In other words, each hat is uniquely independent of all the others. You want a navy hat with a cattleman crown and a square brim? Done. Want a straw with a round top and a buckaroo brim? No problem. Point is, you can have it all. You just need to be intentional about when you don the hat, where you're going, and why you choose that particular style and shape. Each one is different than the others, which makes them special. At the very least, a new head topper makes the outfit complete, much like a new or different activity might help your life to feel more complete. I guess the lesson here is to make sure your hats, or in this case your activities, are all custom. That's Connecting the Dots for today. Be sure and listen to our other episodes on this or other platforms, and I have some great news. I'm pleased to announce we can now be found on iHeartRadio. Big things are happening here in Stephenville. I hope that they're happening for you too. Looking forward to connecting again soon.